bottom lane, Skimmy.
There it is! As you have to stop with John Dane's all gone. Harry with the culling, but it's just not enough damage. He needs to make a play right now. Oh, they're all low. They're all joined together. That's one, that's two. A double kill for him. A triple. Emperor's divide onto Johnny. Oh my god!
Happy bloody hump day. It's the LCO back again, week 5, day 2. And you know what that means? There's only 2 days left of games before we get into the playoffs. We've got 5 teams all locked in to the playoffs as well. They're going to be shuffling around. Look, we needed a couple of teams yesterday to get the wins continuously all throughout the week, and they didn't quite get there. And then some of the teams as well really needed those wins, and they did so. So now they're in playoffs too. So let's have a quick look back at yesterday and see how things went.
The likes we've never seen.
I think you call that bot gap. There's a Zonya out as well, and that's actually from Violet, who was caught, but now is not, and turns things back around. Hang on, this could well be a Penta in the bot. Maximize now arrives, doesn't have Mega Nut, nearly gets blown up, but the focus turns right onto Pabu, who just gets away. Puma's got no mana here at all, and Maximize is still so far away from Mega that has gone horribly wrong for Order. Surely Maximize doesn't die here as well. Chaz is going to try and chase him down. Oh, dearie me. Guncrab jumps over the wall, decides now is my time as the AD carry. Now is my time as the Tristana to get some resets. Looks for more onto Sybil, but won't have the damage there. Still, the fight's going nicely for Direwolves, and Cupcake continues to get into the mix. How does this engage go? Thomas Chen, all eyes on him. So far, not even a single auto attack through. Lockett does provide a bit more HP, but the engage is way too good. In fact, I should say the counter engage from the Chiefs is way too good. There is nothing to be done for Gravitas here. Thomas Chen fighting as best.
What a great day of games it was. And look, no real upsets ended up happening. We were really hoping for some, but they didn't get across the line. It looked like it was the favourites and the teams that really needed the win. They got over the line, and that voice you heard, I think that was Jordan Elfish Guy Mays, who usually I don't say his whole name, but I'll give him the benefit of the doubt today. He's not here. Instead, we've actually changed up who's going to be on the desk, on your screens rather, and it is me, myself, Juice, and the Skim Master over on the far right of screen. So, you know, you guys had the day off. I think you tuned into the games. Juice, how'd you like them?
They were actually some good games. I was watching pretty much all of them. If I didn't catch it, I caught up because I'm an avid LCO fan, first and foremost. But no, like the Gravitas game really caught my attention. I thought that was going to be a little bit of an upset. Thought maybe Thomas Shen was turning into a little bit of a monster, but unfortunately wasn't able to get that one over the line. But yeah, some super exciting games, and I'm excited for today's games.
Yeah, today's game's going to be absolutely pog indeed. Let's bring up the standings quickly and see where all the teams are currently sitting on the ladder. And Skimmy, look, I saw your name in Twitch chat. Tell me, what are your thoughts on yesterday, and what are your thoughts on the final 5?
Yeah, look, mate, as you say, games yesterday were beautiful. Obviously, we started to get those seedings guaranteed with teams having moments to try and decide their fate. Unfortunately for Legacy, weren't able to get that double and were knocked out of the situation. But you're looking at this one here today, Mac. I mean, there's so many different narratives that things can go for. Sure, 5 teams guaranteed. There's still a potential for Peace to take first. They need some results to go their way. They'll need a victory here today to start things off with. Direwolves still hot on the heels to try and guarantee themselves that second spot. And then there's that big battle between Order and Chiefs. The highest spot they can achieve is 3rd, and that's going to be important because that gives them that upper bracket for that 1 extra lifeline.
Yeah, that's interesting to even think. With what we've seen from Direwolves, I honestly don't believe that Direwolves are going to be dropping from that 3rd position. They've just been playing so damn good. If they get one more win in the next 2 days, then they've secured that position as well. Now, look, we love a little bit of OS, and we love a little bit of OS over the ocean. So we did manage to have a quick catch-up with the big man, Ryoma, who's been playing with 100 Thieves, and Nat, we flew her over. She was lucky enough to go and have a chin wag with the man.
Welcome, guys. Today I'm going to be joined by Ryoma, 100 Thieves mid laner. Ryoma, how are you doing? How are you feeling today?
Pretty good. Busy day, but, you know, just normal day of work.
Look, that's the life of a player that's made it to playoffs, you know? But I do want to ask, you know, what have you been up to over in NA, and how has the move been to over there?
This year's been a lot better compared to last year, I'd say. You know, there was a lot of down in last year, but I have a lot of people around me now in this year that support me, and gives me a lot of confidence to keep moving forward, and I feel like we're on the way up.
Yeah, what sort of support is the team giving you over there, and is that from like the org or the other players on the team with you?
I think it's pretty much everything. I think the org has done a lot for me. Just I don't think there's like been a time where I was just like, you know, I don't feel like I'm being treated right. I feel like every time has been pretty good for me. My teammates now, I think they're all my very close friends, and a lot of confidence when I just play with them. Like I just feel really confident and like having a good time, and we get through a lot of problems together. It's nice.
Oh, that's so good to hear. How is it playing with, you know, FBI, who is also another Oceanic League player?
Me and FBI kind of started our career back in 2017 on Sin, which was a very long time ago now. I think we have both grown a fair bit since then, and yeah, I mean, I've always really enjoyed playing with him. I feel like when it comes to mindsets, I think he has one of the best mindset when it comes to improving our league, and I want to be surrounded by like someone like that, and he's pretty good, so it's a bonus.
How did it come about for you to join 100 Thieves? Because this is your second year with them, I believe.
I just came off losing, so I was obviously thinking about what's going to happen the next year following, like what teammates I want to forge for like the year 2020 for OS, because I didn't think I was going to get an offer internationally, but when it came, I was really shocked. I remember getting, you know, an email, and then I was really shocked because I thought it was just a troll, but it turned out being the real deal, and I flew over for like 2 weeks, I think, and just played a couple of games, and, you know, ended up working out.
That's so insane. You just got like this email in your inbox and you're like, nah, surely this isn't happening. And then,
Yeah.
you know, 2021, here you are making playoffs.
Yeah, especially like coming off right after that year. I remember I wasn't too happy with our results because, you know, we didn't have the best results for someone, for like me anyway. I just want to be winning. So at the time I was like really shocked that I even placed like 4th at the time. So I was just kind of shocked. It was nice seeing that message, and, you know.
Yeah, I guess it doesn't matter where you're placing if you're performing the way that you do. You know, how would you rate your mid skills in comparison to the other mids in the LCS?
I think it's been a lot better this year. I think I understand a lot more about what I want, what I have to do. When I was in OS, I was definitely like the big fish, and then in a really small pond. But I feel like the game changed a lot when, you know, I had to verse people who were more experienced and knew what they wanted. I had a lot of trouble, I think, and it was kind of shown, kind of exploited. But I think now I have a pretty good grasp on like what I want, what matchups I want, and just, you know, playing like that. I feel like I just have a better view on League.
Lastly, I want to ask, do you have any words or comments or anything you want to say back to the OS community watching?
I know a lot of players have, you know, went away for OS. It's kind of like not heartbreaking, but it's kind of sad. I've seen like the league, like, you know, drop a fair bit because a lot of the good players were the ones that got picked out. But I think there's still a lot of hope. I think there's a lot of players that could get the chance. It's just like very unlucky timing and stuff. I just think if they keep giving it all, like the OS pros, I think they can make it. Like I don't think it's like impossible. I think as long as they have the support, I think they can easily make it, and they just trust themselves, because I think that's a lot of it, just having enough confidence.
Definitely. Thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate it. And that was some really kind words at the end.
Thank you.
There you go, Nat with a spectacular interview there as well. And it looks like on Monday, I think, 100 Thieves currently in the lower bracket, about to take on Dignitas in the LCS mid-season showdown. So hopefully it goes a little bit better, because up in the upper bracket, C9 took them down last week, it looked like.
Yeah, I mean, everyone loves an underdog story, and I think that's that route 100 Thieves were going for. Very good marketing technique, able to lose that one to Cloud9. If they wanted to win, they would have won. However, from a marketing and sponsorship perspective, very good. Now they go through this dream run in the lower half of the bracket, take the Oceanic boys to the top, and they'll probably win this one, and we'll see them in Iceland. So well done, very smart, very smart.
Yeah, hopefully it goes well for them. You know, Skim, any thoughts on that before we move along into the LCO?
Nah, man. I mean, for me, obviously, Jubes has been fortunate enough to play with such talent, right? You know, it's an honour that he's still, you know, grounded and living life down under with us. You know, so it's always exciting to see some of this homegrown talent get to go overseas, pop off, and showcase what they can do, and give us this platform to say maybe we can still continue to generate talent and give them the I don't know, the world to play on.
That's it. You know, you got to make it out of our little pond, and Roma is one of the players that have done so. Now, let's have a quick look at the schedule, bring things back to the LCO, see what games are going to be coming up today. And, oh, boys, you came back to the desk just in time for the one, the only, the first game of the day, 6 p.m. It's Peace and Pentanet with the rematch. Now, look, the other games, they're pretty good as well. 7 p.m, you got Direwolves, Gravitas. Upset potential there if Gravitas play their A game. Mammoth and Chiefs as well, if Chiefs don't find their form like they've been looking for this, you know, second half of the split. We could see Mammoth pulling the upset with maybe some crazy old draft like we've seen from them recently. And then you got Order and Legacy there as well. Now, Skimmy, give me your thoughts. What's the game of the day, and why is it the first one?
Yeah, quite honestly, mate, there's no point looking past that first game, right? It seems like a bit of a anticlimactic ending to the start of this day, given the fact that, you know, you're going to have so much riding on this first match. As for those other two games, especially between Chiefs and Order, given that they want to be, no doubt, fighting themselves the best spot possible. They've already got the head-to-head against each other to try and force the tiebreak if it were to go that way. But with Mammoth and Legacy no longer in that playoffs run, maybe, just maybe, Jubes, that takes a bit of a weight off their shoulders, and they can afford to draft something really crazy and outlandish and you know, play devil's advocate to cause an upset.
And that's well, I won't spoil predictions because I'm not a man who likes to spoil presents and surprises, but that is one of those things, right? You know, when the playoff dreams have been slashed, you often play to the best of your ability because there's no more pressure, there's no more expectation, and it is just the ultimate for fun gameplay. But sometimes for fun gameplay is the best kind, and it's where you get the best out of yourself. So, Skimmy, I'm excited.
Yeah,
I think it's going to be exciting, you know, especially in that mid lane. And speaking of, we do have the key picks for the mid lane today, and what we've seen a whole lot of gameplay and what's been working. So, Jubes, you know, you're the expert here. You want to take us through why these 4 champs are the ones to pick?
They're all pretty standard control mages in the sense of, like, especially with what the Oceanic mid laners play. Like we saw, not too much Azir in compared to a lot of other regions. They're opting in for more of the Azir, which we touched on a few weeks ago. However, Syndra's that really like early to mid game focused champion, has a lot of control of mid lane. And we have so many mid laners that play for that lane kingdom, play for the 1v1. They want to have that early like edge to abuse that, to either go into a jungle invade with their jungler, to transition into some bot priority or top priority. Then you have some teams who opt in for Orianna because their mid laner is just the person who's going to be consistent, going to be safe. Then you have people like Chaz who just lock in the Victor because he feels, you know, everything is going to go well around him. He's going to be able to scale, and there's nothing that scales better than a Victor. And then there's also some mid laners like Shock who really just opt in for the outplay potential team fights. If you look back to the replays yesterday, I believe it was, he played Zoe, saved his team on so many occasions in these skirmishes. So these mid laners kind of suit, champions here suit different players and different team identities. No surprise that, you know, they're the strongest in the meta as well. But, you know, we don't see Azir, we don't see things like that because they don't suit what we have in the league.
It seems like we've seen Zoe played a little bit as well by Chaz, who's actually pulled that Victor into the equation a couple of times there as well. So, you know, just looking to dish out a fair bit of damage as well. I really loved all that Zoe we got to see yesterday. Hopefully we get to see some more today as we do head, you know, a little bit closer towards the matchup. But before we get there, you know what time it is? It's from the fans. You guys at home, providing us the content. Yes, thank you very much for sending in those beautiful clips yesterday. But also, if you have more clips, you know, sick out plays, terrible plays, or you just want to send in your friends, I don't know, ints down mid, then clip it, send it in, ship it at LCO, hashtag LCO. Please, you know, go follow LCO on Twitter. That's where all the content comes from and goes to. And we do have a clip to kick things off here. So, Jubes, I'll let you take the reins for this one.
All right. I'm taking the reins for the first clip, apparently. So we got Keon here. No, never mind. It's the Aurelia. Uses the flash, uses the E, misses. Absolute sidestep from Keon. Puts the thumbs up, goes in for the auto attack. Can he take him down? He's taking him down. Unbelievable 1v1 from the Misfortune. Such elegance in that play as we see the replay coming on through. Nice little skin here. Maybe a bit of a skin cap. Sidesteps it. Conqueror proc. You think it's all over for Keon, but he's just a little bit too good, a little bit too skillful. Honestly, I don't think that was the highest skill clip if I'm being completely honest.
He stood and delivered, eh? He's actually turret gameplay. He is a hitting a turret. He was just getting it done, Jubes.
That's really it, you know. Instead of running, sometimes it's best to just, you know, face your fears, sit there, hold right click, and it'll bloody go all right. And now, Skimmy, from you, can I please get not only what rank you think that was, but also a rating from 1 to 10 of how great Jube's play-by-play just was.
Look, Jube's going to put me out of a job, quite honestly. I feel like there's been a play-by-play close in this region for such a long time. Maybe I juked it by surviving from last year to here, but every single time I'm on the broadcast with him, I start to wonder, is there going to be a moment where he breaks and just suddenly says, you know what, Skimmy, forget it. I'm not going to throw the cast over to you. I'm going to continue this analysis into the team fight and, no matter the situation. So I'm a little bit concerned. About their gameplay too, because the fact that an Aurelia is struggling to take on a misfortune. I don't actually see what items they have, but you can imagine with Baron and buffs, must have been pretty late into the game. I'm going to optimistically say gold.
Okay.
Let's go for gold.
Right, and we don't know the answer to that, so let's just leave it at that.
Now, really? We don't know?
Yeah.
I thought
it's like a game show with prizes.
Hey, OPGG's bloody name if you want. I think Rusty was doing that yesterday. My fingers aren't fast enough for that though, so we're just going to have to leave it as it is, and I guess Twitch chat can tell us how close Skimmy was. Now, that brings us one step closer towards the matchup, and a question that everyone has been asking is, what will it take to beat Pentanet? Because at the moment, nobody knows. But we've got a couple of players who seem to have an idea and seem to think exactly what to do to beat them.
What do I think it'll take to beat Pentanet? I don't think they're like unstoppable giants. I think there's actually quite a lot of flaws in their game. It's just that a lot of the teams aren't good enough to exploit them yet.
Honestly, I don't think much. I don't think Pentanet are significantly better than us by any means. I think that the game that we played, it was kind of like a bit of a drop gap, like with me blind picking Kane into Skana. Maybe that was like a bit too overzealous by me. But realistically, if we get, say, like a carry versus carry matchup, like obviously I'm going to just read Pabu on anything that isn't like a tank, so I'm not really worried about that at all.
Our lack of knowledge is really detrimental when we play them because they normally out-macro us. So I think in time, when we learn, our individual skill will help in beating them.
They have like just, I guess, the best like foundations, like they're the most solid. Fundamentals are good. That you definitely feel that they're, that tiny bit above the rest. They're just consistent. All these teams aren't consistent. They're just, one game they play really well, next game they int, or, a top team will smash another top team, but then that same team will lose to, or like, really underperform against a bottom team. PGG seems to be the only team that's consistently just stomping the teams below them, and at the moment everyone's below them.
I think Pentanet 100% beatable. Obviously has to start from drafts, but I think they have a very core focus on having a strong 5v5 team fight composition. I think if we get through the early game, I think our mid game and late game macro will shine through and slowly dismantle Pentanet gaming.
The more sample size we get on Pentanet, the more we can adapt to the way they play, and hopefully the level of play that they've shown, obviously they've been the best team in our region, right? But the level of play that they've shown should really drag everyone else's up, because we get the privilege of scrimming against them and playing against them every single week, and hopefully that over time that gap will close, and eventually the teams will start being able to understand how to beat Pentanet. Yeah.
It really doesn't take that much to beat us. Like we're good for sure, but there's a lot of holes in the way that we play the game, and we make a lot of mistakes. But every team comes into us with like these gimped drafts, so like fix your draft first. Like everyone kind of steps up to the plate, and then like I don't know, we'll spend like an hour talking about draft, and there'll just be a lot of worst case scenarios with situations that we're not happy with, and then we'll get on stage and we'll just get like Kaiser Udyr Seraphine or something, and then it's just like, all right, like we didn't even want to play this game, like this is free. Like we came into this like peak anxiety, and then we finished the draft and we're like max chilling. So it's like, I don't know, just fix your draft before you step up to us, and then maybe some teams will take some games.
There you have it. Let's see if any of the thoughts of the players come to fruition before the end of this first split, because at the moment, no one seems to be getting close. There's been a few times where we've seen some leads from some teams, but we spoke about this yesterday, and look, you guys can have the floor for this one. Pentanet, they just know how to win. They're so damn good at it, Juice.
I think I said, I think sometimes draft is overstated in regions where fundamentals are really poor. If your fundamentals are poor, you could have the best draft in the world. You're not going to win the game, right? However, Pentanet have the capacity to mind control the team that they're versing 9 times out of 10 to get the Exodia comp. And Pabu hit the nail on the head. For some reason, their worst case scenario never comes up. We never say, their bot lane's on an uncomfortable matchup, or Chaz is on an uncomfortable matchup, or Pablo's in a bad matchup, for some reason, they always have good matchups across the board. And yeah, individually, good matchups don't always mean you have a good composition, but 9 times out of 10, they do. And it's very concerning when you're versing the best team in the league, the best team consistently in terms of how they perform, fundamentally as well, but they also have consistently the best drafts.
It's crazy to me, Juves, also the fact that, they're really able to exploit it also in this best-of-1 format during the regular season because they're finding drafts that work for them, they're comfortable on it, they're able to execute against so many different teams and quite honestly dominate them. I mean, you can look from the scoreline here, 17-2 at 20 minutes in, you just think, hang on a minute, is the gap between these teams that big? So at the moment, I think the momentum is so far gone in their favor. I think a lot of teams would no doubt be banking now on the playoff format itself. We've got a best-of-5, and not going to try and pick up some adaptations on the fly in that scenario because that becomes a whole different ball game completely. So I'm excited to see that one, but at the moment, I think the Pentanet train is unstoppable.
Yeah, it's certainly picked up some pace throughout the season, and I feel like if there's one team that can stop them at the moment, you'd think it's Peace. Now let's have a quick talk about Peace. Jubes, you love him. You love this man in the middle. He threatened you with his cousins, but we'll leave that to the side.
He didn't threaten me.
Well, he's been threatening everyone, so we'll just forget about it for the moment.
Anyway, back to the game. This team, they play like an LPL team, right? In the sense that they're going to go very hard in the early game. They're going to put their foot on the pedal, and if it works for them, they're going to end the game very fast. And you know what? You're probably not going to be able to catch up to them because mechanically they're too good. And we see it at instances like this, right? Mammoth look like they're in the game somewhat. It's 14 minutes in, but look at the goal deficit. And they're doing this with a Jinx, right? Jinx isn't known as a champion that takes over the game, at 15 minutes. However, laning phase kicked them from PCE. So it's almost like a battle of two identities when you look at Peace and when you look at Pentanet. Peace are just going to beat you in lane, beat you in the mid game, and it's over. Whereas Pentanet are going to play the map a little more. So really excited to see if Peace this week have fixed their kind of mid to late game transition or mid to late game problems.
Yeah, I think for me, as you pretty much highlighted, right, it's the fact that Peace will be looking for all that early game tempo. They'll be full snap mid jungle for those 2v2s. They'll be contesting early objectives. They'll be looking to try and find themselves the most desirable early game matchups so they can find that lead, because when they find that lead, that's when they seem to be the most devastating. But when they seem to go even, they coin flip a lot, right, on these mid to late game skirmishes, which is what you highlight.
And their drafts, so just quickly, Mac, because I know you want to take the show on the road. Their drafts too, Skimmy and Mac, are also very lane-focused, aggressive drafts. You look at Pentanet play like the Seraphine, play the scaling enchanters and things of that nature, and Peace just play kill lanes, permanent kill lanes. And what happens when you don't kill? You need to start playing the map a little bit better. So super keen to see how draft plays out.
Yeah, look, well, once we get the draft, I guess we'll figure it out, because obviously that's going to be a huge contention in this battle of the Titans. And look, I just want to know who's going to have Kaiser. Anyway, we do have Nat down on the side lanes. I think we lost her for a while, but she's back, all right. She managed to find her internet. We're not going to have another repeat of earlier in the split. And Nat, look, you've been saved. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I mean, I'm a little bit stressed and nervous that at any moment the internet's going to go down. I mean, it's the sunniest day ever, so knock on wood, nothing's going to happen. But I'm very nervous about it.
Are you jet lagged from the North American interview? Like coming back?
Man. They're flying me every week, it's insane. It's a really demanding job.
Yeah, I would
look, you're certainly living up to all expectations. So who do we expect from you down on the sidelines here today?
I am going to be talking to Chaz and Halo for our pre-game interview. Thank you both so much for joining me. I guess that this is the ultimate showdown that a lot of people have been looking forward to in this second round robin. But Chaz, how is the atmosphere down in Pentanet at the moment?
Well, everyone's super keen to get this game out. This is the final game before realistically we have this perfect split. So everyone's really hyped. A lot of preparation came into this matchup. So yeah, everyone's super keen, super excited to get it started.
And what about you guys over there, Halo? How is Peace feeling?
Yeah, we're chilling. Obviously, we want to play spoiler and give Pentanet a loss, but I think, are we guaranteed second, or we need one win or something? So we're just looking for that, really. Whether best order or Pentanet, it's the main goal.
Okay, I mean, it's good that you guys aren't putting too much pressure on yourselves, but what have you taken away from the last time you guys matched up against Pentanet?
I think we make a lot of mistakes in terms of getting caught and getting ganked. Obviously, our draft also was a bit scuffed, but I think we've shored up some of those mistakes, and we understand a bit more about how to sort of solve Pentanet. But we'll see how we go in this game. They're a pretty tough opponent, so.
And Chaz, what is going to be the main focus for you guys over at Pentanet coming into this game?
Well, we just want to secure like a solid draft, make sure we have like good lanes coming in. I guess like the narrative that was on broadcast is like we are a lot better macro-wise and play like cohesively together, and they need like to develop leads through laning phase. So if we can get like lanes that we're all comfortable with, and can just play out the early game and I guess equal gold around mid game, I don't think there'll be much of a contest past that point. So that's really what we're looking for.
Who's going to be the biggest threat to that on the side of Peace?
Probably the jungle matchup. I think that's like probably what they need to like push the early game. Like obviously everyone can look and say like, oh, Violet, Aldoric are the two big carries, but like you need the jungle to facilitate that. So if their jungle's on like a piss matchup or is he's getting gapped by Pabu, then bot lane can't play, right? So it's definitely gonna look to Lisa.
And Halo, what about the other side of the coin? Who do you think on Pentanet is going to be the biggest threat to your gameplay?
Probably Pabu. I think he's pretty solid, and he has a deeper thinking of the game than people think. His fundamentals are pretty good, and he probably is the sort of like the glue that keeps Pentanet together, I think. That gives them the edge on everyone else.
Well, I appreciate you both so much joining me and giving me a little bit of insight. Good luck for the game, and we'll be keeping an eye on the jungle then, no doubt.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Look, it was really, Chaz, he must have been looking at TikTok, right? Because I've seen this lady on TikTok that does this thing where she delays her voice.
Delay?
And she goes, hey, hi, stuff like that. So
I've actually been watching them as well, and I've been like weirdly doing it, and it's so enjoyable.
he's pretty good at it. Like, we'll have to do it again sometime. Anyway, great interview. Nice little bit of insight there from both of the players. Now let's bring up the predictions, see what we think or which way we think this game is going to go. And of course, I've gone with the underdogs. I'm trying to make sure my score looks nice and even, kind of like my win rate in bronze. It's a good place to be. And holy shit, Jubes, 43-5. That's a pretty good record. You're in the 40s. I haven't seen that yet.
Well, it is the first split. And yeah, to drop a 40 bomb, it is nice. I don't think I can hit a. Can I hit a 50 bomb? I can.
Yes.
Yeah, I can.
Yeah, 8 games left.
Yeah. So I'll be aiming for 50 for sure. Hopefully the teams that I've predicted don't let me down. A little bit of a curveball I've thrown in there tonight too, just to let some people catch up if need be.
Okay. All right, well, I guess we'll see once we get to that. Skimmy, what have you gone for Pentanet?
Yeah, I think they're touching a lot of the fundamentals there. Mid-jungle needing to really find themselves those important matchups to drive their early game tempo is kind of what Peace are so strong at. And if they don't get punished in, then Pentanet can carry away the game quite easily from there. So I feel like if Pabu continues just to dominate and, I don't know, mind gap people into drafting weird and wacky, then it should be a Pentanet dub for sure.
Okay, and Nat, did you copy someone's homework tonight, or did you do it all yourself today?
I did it all myself. In fact, I was the second person to do my predictions, and I don't know if Rusty ended up changing, but I'm pretty sure Rusty copied exactly what I put. So I'm putting one out there again. I did not copy anyone. I did all this homework myself. I think this game was probably the tougher of all the games today to predict, because I kind of want Peace to come out with something really, that we're not expecting.
Like a movie.
Yeah, well, it's good to see that Rusty's been put on blast while he's not here to defend himself. I'm sure he'll be in Twitch chat, though, because, all this is pre-recorded anyway, according to Twitch chat, which is a lie. Anyway, it is time for Champ Select, the banger matchup of the day. Peace and Pentanet coming at you now. Boys, take us in.
Well, here we go, Juves. A potential insight into what that grand final could look like. It's what multiple people have already told us, and it might be what we see here today. Dating our minds back to what we did see when these two teams faced up against each other. Pentanet pretty much got drafting Exodia. Peace said, look, we're throwing some curveballs. We're playing Graga support, Wukong top lane. We're trying, upset the balance. It didn't really hit the mark, though.
No, it didn't. And I do think that part of Peace's pick ban first time around was decent, right? Like, I think they had the nuts and bolts to win that game. However, it's what they gave away that punished them. In the sense that, you know, if they maybe tweaked their bans a little bit, drafted similar things, they'd be fine. But you can't give away what I think it was, refresh my memory, they gave away Udia,
Yeah,
Seraphine,
Udia, Kaiser, Seraphine. It was just insane.
and
You're just looking at those first three and you're thinking, what?
You could almost, and again, I think I have like a 40% win rate in solo queue at the moment, but you could almost sub me in and I could almost win that game as well. Almost.
The champions in the middle were that strong.
Yeah. And Udia, like, of course, I can press bear slap. That's fine. But Ari ban, the Ari ban's an interesting one. Feel like we're, as a region, really popularizing the Ari pick. So what Ari's done very well in our region is it's punished the flashless mid laner. You use like 2 Spirit Rush charges to get into melee range. And then normally the mid laner panics, starts juking, and ultimately just jukes to death. But Ari's seemingly finding leads. And then obviously if you find a lead with an assassin type mid laner, you're going to take over the game. And that's probably something Halo doesn't want to deal with. And I actually do think it's a bit of a smart ban because Halo has struggled in the past with getting ganked. He's not the weak link, but he's a link in which they target a lot of the time, right? This is a lane we're going to target, we're going to focus. So taking away the volatile matchup is probably something really smart.
But in that same vein, it's as much true also for Chaz. He, in most recently, has been targeted as well. And if we look at their last game against each other in the first 15 minutes, 100% of that kill participation came between mid and jungle. They were just on repeat, ganking and fighting and guaranteeing that, hey, 4v5, now we do Dragon, now we go for Herald, now we go for a Scuttle Crab as a result. So we'll love to see a really strong mid-jungle duo. Udia, first and foremost, gives you the AD department. Pentanet handshake, that respond with the Lilia. I'm going for the Alistair as well to try and make sure that they don't find themselves the ideal pairing between that and the Kaiser. But true to Peace's nature, Aladoric ever the player to shy away from the enchanters like the Seraphine, hence the ban on blue side, has gone for the Rel.
Yeah, and then, you know, as I'm not going to say stale, but how this bot lane has become, right? You get the Rel, you give the Alistar, vice versa, and then you give the Kaiser, take the Xayah type deal. So it's nothing that we haven't been expecting, especially when you look at nameplates. But the interesting thing, I guess, if you were to touch on, is that maybe Praetor's first game in a very long time that he's not on Kaiser. Unless maybe it was like he's played a game here and there on Xayah. But for the most part, right, Kaiser's where he's had his 1v9 performances. And to take him off that and get your best player, I would say Violet, Kaiser is a very big deal in this scenario.
Certainly is, and it was nearly 9 games on the row. Soon to be 10, was it, for the Kaiser, but they broke up that pattern yesterday as Order forced him to play the Xayah then. So only 2 games on the Xayah. This will be his 3rd. He's only played 3 champions so far uniquely here this season, Jews, as opposed to Violet, who's played 6. So a lot more has been focused towards ensuring that Peace's bot lane can't get off to a flying start. But both of you revealed what they're going to play so far, and now we look to try and target the top lane, which has usually been Peace's biggest effort going up against Pentanet, trying to make sure that Biopanther isn't able to flex through all the different tanks. When it's not been the Scion or the Ornn, it has been the Urgot in recent times too.
Yeah, but it's interesting because I wouldn't say that the Urgot is Bio's best champion. So unless that's just a matchup that Peace have in mind that they want to draft, and Urgot is just something that they can't deal with, then maybe that makes sense. However, he's still going to get his hands on, you know, the likes of a Gnar, the likes of a Scion. And like, if I'm drafting, I don't really want Biopanther on Scion. He's just too good. And, you know, it's probably something to laugh at, something that's a little bit funny. Like, how good can you be at Scion? But, like, he wins the melee inter-range matchups. And he has priority. And he moves to the Dragon and he starts the fights and he just does it very well.
Certainly does, and you know, quite honestly, he'll be quite happy that it's been left and available for him. We know that Appy's had this insanely huge champion pool so far, playing a ton of unique champions to try and find that little advantage. Arguably the 2 best top laners in the league so far, trying to find any kind of advantage in that matchup. Chaz's Echo has been banned away. He's actually gone for the Blind Victor as a result, a champion that you'd argue could be a little bit greedy here, but no doubt feeling quite comfortable to take that one blind.
Yeah, could be greedy, could be punished by something. What does Halo have up his sleeve? He's been saved for, you know, counter pick. Obviously, if it was up to Pentanet and they really wanted to counter pick mid lane, that's what they could do. But I think Chaz is the type of player to take certain matchups into anything. And when you pick Victor, you know 9 times out of 10 you're going to get the control mage mirror matchup, and it's ultimately going to come down to skill expression in team fights or how you play early lane. I would say though, this matchup, Orianna Victor, can become volatile. You know, we consider these control mages quite stable.
Yeah.
However, Summoner Spell burn on either side ultimately results in a death when the junglers come around, because you got the Lilia, you got the Udyr. There's no mobility on the side of these mid laners, and both of these mid laners, as you touched on, have shown us they are gankable, right? I think Chaz had 3 deaths in 10 minutes in one game. Halo consistently being able to get ganked. So this mid lane does have the potential to blow up, and these champions have the potential to just take over a game.
It certainly will, because quite honestly, Juves, this is exactly the mid lane matchup we had last time. The only difference is that the junglers are identical too, but they've just happened to flip sides. So now you've got the AD AP on the side of Pieces. It's going to be up against a double AP setup here from Pentnet. So maybe Halo can find a small advantage here with the Merc Treads or the Verdant Barrier to try and get himself that strength in the 2v2. But that is going to be up for debate, as the final pick here coming out from Biopanther will be the set. And that'll be, I believe, his first time playing the set this season.
I really like the set here, because the bigger the front line, the better set is, right? Because set is able to suplex the Scion or the Udyr into the backline, create like a bunch of AoE damage. Even if you miss, you're able to separate the team fight. You think of it as like a makeshift Gragas ultimate, right? Because it's always on the carry's mind. Halo doesn't want to have a frontliner with a lot of health land on top of him, because it's just going to take half of his health in damage. So you have to space team fights accordingly, but that space probably gives Pentanet the win, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and Juves, honestly, this runs me back to Pentanet 2020 in the OPL, where it was Pabu playing as the jungler. They had a Kassadin in the mid lane. He suplexed the Scion, who's trying to find that, engage angle into the back of his team. Pretty much one-shot the entire backline as a result.
Yeah, I remember that, and it was like one of the plays of the week, or I think maybe it even made it global, or it got a big retweet from someone, and he had a lot of impressions because Pabu is that guy on social medias. But off social media, we're looking at these drafts, and both drafts are just heavy 5v5 compositions. Pentanet maybe have like the slight edge in the sense that if they're winning the side lane, like if Bio ever gets a lead, he's probably able to do a little bit of damage in the side lane. But it's not going to be like the Fiora hitting a tower, taking the tower down in 3 Qs. But there's probably the avenue where they are able to play through a side lane, because set functions very well into tanks. Once you get that Conqueror stacked up, you get the grit, you get the true damage coming on through, you're able to really take over the side lane. So I'm interested to see whether Peace are able to force the team fight on their terms, or whether or not Pentanet are able to create some side lane pressure into a team fight skirmish, into a flank from Biopanther. One's a little more front to back, one wants to find the flank just that little bit more.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously, before you even get to that stage, it's all going to come down to laning and how that can really benefit them to get that strong advantage. Goal differences, XP differences come 10-15. We've seen how important it has been to burn teleports first to try and get to the fight. And at Biopanther, he's been very, very willing to sacrifice his own lane state to guarantee that Predator from the bot side finds that advantage. It's going to be interesting, as you touch on, to see what that actually means. As for Peace, a lot more standard, you'd say. We talked about the curveball with the Gragas support and the Wukong top side last time around. A lot more of a standard affair coming out from him here. So if you are looking at a lot of these sort of handshakes between these individual matchups, if it is going to be a little bit easy in that regard, then I'm expecting a big presence between mid-jungle trying to open up this map.
You would argue, though, in the pre-6 department, Peace have the advantage in the 2v2, right? Because Udyr does have a little bit of CC. The base damage alone is quite high, whereas Lilia, not necessarily known as the champion that should get stuff done, especially when you pair it with the Victor, right? There's no CC that comes through. If Halo does get CC'd, then there has to be a big disaster, because the Victor really only has the force field or gravity field, whatever you want to call it.
It's a point-and-click stun, right? Invade potential, guaranteed to try and, step up on your opposition and bully them out. And Adoric, they're going to go for the jump. That's going to force out Decoy to burn his flash very early on. Has gone for the Hex Flash, and is running after Shock 2, so no phase rush. So he's going to be quite tanky, but no longer going to be able to find that straight flash pulve anymore.
Yeah, and the one way you lose... Not lose, but the one way the matchups become quite hard for you in the Alistar Rel lanes is at level 1. Alistar doesn't have the headbutt to knock Rel away when Rel opts in for that little engage there. So a little bit disrespectful from the side of Pentanet, and we're already seeing the 2v2 prowess coming out of Violet and Aladoric in this lane.
Certainly are. You can see what it meant, really. As a result of that trade, they can zone them away from the wave, last hit their minions, guaranteed a hit 2 first, and get a desirable trade working in their favor. And this also opens up the ability to then keep tabs as to where Pabu is. He's running Predator, so going to be running, we're looking to try and boost his way towards those boots of lucidity and get himself on the map for as many ganks as possible, but trying to keep Pabu locked down. Many teams have tried. This could be a nice little avenue for Peace to find the early game success.
Yeah, and we might even see Lisa look for a lane gank here because Pentanet's lane is pushing towards Peace. Alistair has no flash. Udi has just finished the Krugs. You know, maybe he's going to prioritize the Crab over everything because if a fight does break out, and maybe we just see a normal gank.
It's a one-man knock-up onto Decoy so far. Then they buffer the Magnet. There's the stun. Decoy in so much trouble. He's going to fall on down for first blood. It's going to be Lisa that picks it up. Out coming to TP's Violet flashing away. Needs a bit of a heal. Oh, the flash haymaker misses Jubes. Oh no, by Pepper. He's committed everything towards this, but he's going to lose the trade. And now Kaiser finds a kill. Lisa's online. And Peace find 2.
That is an absolute disaster. That is maybe worst case scenario, right? You've teleported with your set, you know, lost the priority matchup in the top side of the map. Yes, the lane is pushing towards him, so it's not all doom and gloom. However, bot lane summoners go down, jungle summoner goes down. He's able to pick up the Crab as consolation prize, but the one player you don't want to have the lead is Violet, and he's leaving, or not leaving lane, he's entering lane with a very big lead now.
I mean, just look how his play starts first and foremost. Aladoric preying on Decoy's susceptibility to having burned that flash at level 1. Violet not falling on down. The potion nest enough, and the haymaker. Oh, you hate to see it.
I think he just mistimed it, right? Maybe mistimed it a little bit, maybe flashed a little bit too early. Because remember, when you're using the haymaker, you can't move. So you have to buffer it or use it at a time in which... And he's just breaking the freeze. Nothing much going to happen here. Yeah, you have to use it at a time in which it's going to hit instantly as soon as you flash. So Panther, maybe a little bit of nerves there, maybe a little bit of rust on the set. First time we're seeing him play at this split, so...
Yep.
1k gold lead now.
Certainly is a 1k gold lead. Worth noting, he played a fair few games of the set last season around, but it's a champion that's, I won't say fallen from grace, but definitely being... other champions have prioritized being picked over it. But is a champion that no doubt will find a lot of value going into those team fights. But we're very early on, and this is what we already mentioned narrative-wise, is Peace's biggest strength. If they can find that lead, maybe they can take it in the mid-game. And you know, definitely to get your biggest points of strength off to a great start, you can't complain.
Can't complain at all, and it's, like we said, it's just farm, you know, trading or farm in the mid lane. Pretty much dead even. Not much action, and to be quite frank, they don't have the junglers to influence mid lane anyway, and I'm just surprised we saw such a big skirmish that early on in the bot lane. And
yeah.
You know what, Skimmy? It actually just stems from, and we might see it again, but this time they're on vision, and it stems from just the lack of discipline level 1, right? Like Decoy had to burn his flash, and that is literally just a butterfly effect.
And it felt like it was a cascading effect for multiple reasons, right? The ability to put that vision wall down so that, you know, Lisa can run in there without a fear in the world, that Pabu can't do much pre-6. That they can literally just hide in a bush, zone you from a wave and say, if you do step up, we will take you down as a result. So, hey, they're not going to complain about it. 6 minutes into this one, they are going to find that laning need, and they are going to find that, you know, justifiable item, gold lead, whatever you want to put it down to try and determine, you know, what does this map state look like pre-15, be it Dragon, Herald, and so on.
Yeah, Pabu just hit the Predator there, so that's a big cooldown gone down. You know, you'd like to have that one up, and, you know, maybe they take the Predator going on cooldown as the go button, right? As the let's do the Dragon. 2 pieces kind of detriment. It's not going to be an Ocean Soul, so that's the first Dragon going down. Maybe we'll get a Cloud Drake, Skimmy.
Yeah, hey, look, it seems to be the go-to. As much as we meme it, it's definitely possible. It certainly is possible. Cloud or Infernal, 50-50, flip a coin. And we will see what we get. Now, Pabu, still not level 6, but sniffing at trouble, maybe looking for a pre-6 gank. Goes the orb. Swing of the hammer, looking to put him to sleep as he actually hits 6 on the wave. This time, bear in mind, Abby's already burnt that flash. He doesn't have that ultimate already either. He might just burn on down, but the potions are ticking. Sidestep, so Fancy Shield was there as well, and that just gives Peace so much information.
I think on a micro level, that was misplayed again by Panther, right? Like, he could have taken so much more damage from the turret there, and then Pub is just going to leave. Oh, all in the bot lane.
Looking to be the case right now. Decoy in so much trouble. Someone here having to be burned as the damage will come to a stop as Violet is out of mana. They're very close to 6, as are both of these bot lanes. They were looking at a 3-6 all in.
I'd have to say a replay, but that gank in the top lane is enough to make Sion lose a very big wave. But, you know, it is a Sion. He's still going to be a tanky boy. However, I think micro misplay, potentially Panther take the turret damage just that little bit more. So the Haymaker does a little more damage, and then all of a sudden he falls down to the Lilia Q. However, playing it a little bit safe, not wanting to trade 1-for-1 potentially with the Sion, but they're losing out on the bot side of the map, so Pabu probably felt the need to pressure that, and we did get a replay, so I just want to see how this one plays out. I could be wrong, Skimmy, but never been wrong in my life. So if Panther just walks forward there, takes a little more damage, then uses the Haymaker, I think he falls down because the Haymaker would do obviously more damage.
Fully charged.
Yeah, exactly, and that's a kill that goes missing, and potentially something that they could snowball off.
And how odd is this, right? To sort of see a situation where, you know, potentially, you know, not to say it is concluded here, but potentially two lanes now aren't in the most desirable state for Pentanet. You know, we've never really seen them in a situation like this. Sure, you know, Panther's up in CS, but a fight that goes amiss like that opens up the floodgates for Violet then to be aggressive bot side, and he finds his own 20 CS lead. Not situations we've seen too common up against Pentanet.
No, and we might even just see a tower dive here.
Well,
TP's coming
doesn't
on
have
through.
ultimate, so he's actually in a whole bunch of trouble right now. They just take him down. As a result, he's going to try and buff that shield. Flashes out the Feather Storm, but then that's the flash from Praetor as well to guarantee the kill comes across. And quite honestly, you know, Rel just has no real agency being there without ult.
No, and I think it's just a little bit too fast, too soon, right? The teleport was coming through from Halo. It wasn't the Sion, right? And maybe Halo was calling, we need to go now, because he potentially just gets one shot under turret there if he's just able to TP and nothing happens. However, really well played from Pentanet on the weak side. You know, that was going to be a very bad situation for them, but they were able to outplay. And the kill went across to the Xayah. I thought it maybe went away across to the Victor Laser, but Chaz just teleporting in to make sure it's safe. And Chaz did lose quite a bit on that TP2 though, Skimmy. So now it's about a 15 CS lead in the mid lane.
Yeah, and we already touched on the fact that Hela's going to be going into a double AP setup here. He's already gone for that Null Magic Mantle, no doubt looking to try and turn it into either the Merc Treads or the Verdant Barrier to make life even easier for them. And I think that might be the biggest adaptation as to why we haven't seen mid lane be the ganking angle so far. There is the combo, Shockwave onto 2, lock them all in place. Alador this time leads the line. He still doesn't have level 6, but that doesn't seem to matter. He may just survive, but dies to the Gravity Field in the end as the Chaos Storm is ticking on through. Fight. Here comes the suplex onto 1, brings them both together and takes out Lisa. Dragon was soon to spawn, and there's Peace that engage, but there's Peace that fall down.
And Pentanet, this is what we talk about and why they're such a good team. They just read the map so well. This is a play that Peace are making, right? Peace think they found the pick onto Pabu. However, Decoy hovering his jungler, and this is what the top two teams do so well. Supports out of base, leave their AD carry, roam to the play, and in this instance, Pentanet just have superior positioning, and they're the ones that are ultimately setting up the counter gank.
And just like that, you know, 10 minutes of great work there from Peace has been completely undone. It's now Pentanet that take the lead in the gold once more. The buffs have been shared around. You now got Panther with double buffs on him to continue being aggressive. He's up by 30 CS right now. Just look at this. Alador, once again, no ultimate, but I think maybe, just maybe Shockwave's enough.
Yeah, I think level 6 Alistar here is huge, right? Alador doesn't have level 6 on the Rel yet, and I think this is ultimately what turns it. You know, they were forced a little bit. Praetor is getting some free damage there. And in this scenario, this is why the set has so much value. If set is picked into a tankier composition, you know, there's not enough burst damage or not enough consistent damage to kill him. And he's just sitting there in the front line. As set's taking damage, he's doing more damage. So it's just a best case scenario there for Pentanet.
Certainly is. And they're going to be quite stoked that, hey, sure, maybe that was a bit of a scary 10-minute opener to this one. But it's back to normal again as we fade into the situation of getting map control. We've got the Scuttle. We've got all this vision down. As you can see, Lisa looking to try and clear things out. But the potential for them to contest this Dragon does not look likely, as Violet is going for a reset, going to go for a base to try and get himself as close to that Kraken Slayer as possible. And that's going to tie things up here, 1-1.
And it's the bio special. Did you see him in the mid lane there? He's got a wave under top lane turret. You know, potentially missed the full wave, if I'm being completely honest, as well as some turret plates. But he's willing to make that sacrifice for his team to pick up that Dragon.
Yeah.
So once Bio walked down, they knew they had no business contesting. Yeah, Sion could TP, but they're going to lose the fight before that teleport comes on through. And Herald gets dropped there, Skimmy.
Does get dropped. Ooh, cheeky little all in here from Halo as he's going to pop his full cooldown on towards Chaz. He's down to a third right now. Chaos Storm goes on out, but he can literally just waltz out of it, but might take a laser after all is said and done. Still going to come ahead. As you say, the Herald's being dropped bot before it expires, and they're going to be looking to hope that they can guarantee at least one headbutt for some turret plates to go across.
And yeah, just a few plates go down. I'm not even sure, I didn't see off screen. I'm not even sure if the bot lane from Peace picked up plates there. Wonder if it just went across to the Udyr. Violet staying on the map here means that they're going to sit bot side. You know, there's no reason for them to flip.
Yeah.
They're happy to just, you know, remain in the 2v2. And honestly, Skimmy, one of the longer laning phases that we've seen in the LCO, right? Yeah, they flip for the Herald. But now we're all back in our standard lanes. 13 minutes into the game, no turret has gone down, and it is what you want if you're playing with both compositions, right? Like, you're happy for Kai'Sa to go to items, for Orianna, the Scion as well, and if you're on Pentanet, you're happy with to trade items as well, and it's just going to come down to the next objective fight, the next team fight execution, and both teams will just be hedging their bets, saying, yeah, we've got the mechanics, the setup to be able to win that one.
Yeah. And I think execution really is the key word here, because what's notable from last time these two teams faced off against each other is that Pentanet were able to find so many picks on those side waves on good timing that allowed them to take, you know, turrets, dragons, heralds, and put themselves in that almost checkmate situation where, hey, it's sole point, you know, you have to fight us now, whether or not you like it. So, going to be interesting, given that this game is still incredibly close, what it actually means once laning phase is over, how these teams can play around the vision aspect, and if they get caught or not.
Yeah, it's Pentanet that are opting in to put Chaz in the side lane, by the way. I didn't think Chaz would want to be down there, because there is the opportunity for him to get 3-man, for him to get ganked. Does have very good wave clear at this point in the game, but it is that longer lane we always talk about. They do have pretty good vision control at the moment, so probably be just feeling that little bit safer because of the wards that are down. But we can see on the way pings already. You know, that's the idea. That's what they want to do, punish this Victor in the side lane.
Well, they went to try and clear out some vision. Instantly, Pentanet come and respond. They're going to run straight down bot side river and guarantee that he is protected, because that bot tier 1, that is the safety that all mid laners look for. That is soon to crumble. And a gank is very much inevitable. He's going to pop the ult just to trim that wave and deter any further aggression.
But now Victor has no ultimate, right? A little bit of life still coming out of Violet from the runes. So Halo does have ult. Chaz no ultimate, so see if they look to make a play here. Unfortunately for the side of Peace, there's no neutral objective to fight over. They can opt in for this Rift Herald if they like, but just in terms of setup, in terms of matching lanes, it isn't a possibility at the moment.
Is it a possibility? It's worth noting that a bit of a rare occurrence here. Definitely a viable option for the Lilia. Has gone for the Moonstone renewal. We've typically seen them run the Leandries, but in a double AP setup here, quite comfortable to give as much worth and value as they can cycle through those spells to find that slight edge and sustain.
Yeah, for sure. And if there's one player that was going to do that or was going to opt in for this, it would be definitely Pabu. Very, very selfless player. I think most of the Lilia players in the LCO would be opting in for the Leandries, no questions asked. And I think their second choice would be the Ludens, just because they want to do as much damage as possible.
Well, I'll put it into this perspective, Jubes. 76% have gone Leandries. Ludens and Moonstone, they're not even on the score sheet. They're less than 14%. So.
Oh, Ludens was just a exaggeration of a joke.
Well, but that's exactly what I mean, right? It really is the 1% here, you know, showcasing that, hey, I'll play Predator and I'll play Moonstone. I don't care.
Yeah, but that's kind of, I think the meta hasn't allowed for Pabu to show like his true identity as a jungler. Yes, he can play carries and he's happy to do so, but however, and we talked about it before the game, the set play he made where he was full tank set, just perma-ganking for his lanes, he's very selfless. And Biopanther might be caught.
Well, he might be selfless right now as he looks to try and deliver as many people as possible into the mid lane. As he pops the haymaker, he flashes away, the critic spies, the ignite is sticking, but he survives. He's bettered his team into a team fight right now as Predator's popping that Featherstorm, flashes away to the safety of his own team. Two members get put to sleep right now as it is Appy in the front line, who is soaking up all the damage and more. He'll be the first person to fall on down as he turns to the afterlife. Can't do much more than respect that, hey, it's now a 4v5 and that third dragon has just spawned.
And this is the problem, when the set is just uninterrupted, has a significant lead in laning phase, you're able to just, quite frankly, 1v3. you know, he wasn't going to kill anyone in that situation, but the fact that he doesn't fall down is a miracle. And the one thing I wanted to highlight and why Pentanet are so good is if we get a replay of that skirmish, look at the spacing of Pentanet. The way every member is spread out so that Halo has nowhere to use his shockwave. He does arrive late, but Praedyth was sitting on one side, Chaz was behind his tanks, and Pabu was just coming in, you know, flinging skill shots, and the spacing was just a little bit too good, and there was really no way Peace could do any damage. And
Would have done damage there, Juves. Yeah, they certainly have. That's going to be Lisa flashing out. Actually, no, getting knocked out from their headbutt more than anything there. Looking a little bit funny, that interaction. But they have managed to take down Praedyth, ensure that he doesn't get too out of control, and then they share that gold lead back in favor of Violet, who, well, he has been a difference maker. Both teams, as much as we talk about being a bit of a bot lane showing, it does hold true for the most part. Both represent about 30% of their overall team damage, and usually vacuum up about 40% of the overall kills. So there's a big emphasis on these two bot lane players to showcase what they can do. So Peace have been gift-wrapped an opportunity.
yeah, for sure. And the thing that I guess we've kind of slept on is Halo's at 200 CS. So whilst Chaz is doing 10 CS per minute, and you think, yeah, that looks good, there's a 20 CS lead on the side of Halo. And 20 CS does equate to be about 1 kill. And if we look at the gold lead, even though Peace are down 1 kill, yes, they're up 1 turret, but they're up gold.
Yeah.
So, you know, we do talk about how well this game's looking for Pentanet, but that's purely because they're skirmishing better, right? Every skirmish that we've seen thus far, it's looked just a little bit cleaner from Pentanet, and that's what they've made their name doing. However, and Praedyth again.
Oh no, Decoy, he's gone for the combo. It's not connected. TPs have been burnt and Predator's been used, and Peace have been full and afforded a pretty unlikely lifeline here. A situation where they may have been caught, but they will survive.
Yeah, and you still have to say that's a net win for Peace, right? You burnt the Scion ultimate, but you were able to get the set teleport. I know which one's more valuable, and Lisa's going in now.
Unbreakable Will's already been burned, as it's looking to try and keep him tanky as possible. Here comes the Featherstorm, going to recall and take it back down.
Violet.
They've actually just going to take out Violet. Violet, why are you there? He's popped the Killer Instinct, then playing in melee range, Jubes, and Pentanet said, well, who can throw better?
Yeah, I mean, that is an uncharacteristic mistake for sure, but it's not over yet, Skimmy.
Certainly isn't to be the case right now as Appy gets put to sleep. A one-man shockwave trying to take out these two bruises. Who can live a longer? Appy gets sent to the afterlife. As Decoy falls on down, he's going to try and punch on, but the Feather Recall roots him in place. And it's going to be Chaz, the scaling mid lane control mage, that finds himself a double kill.
That's a 4v5, by the way. Look at Bio. And look at the level lead, or you can't look at the level lead now because Scion is in fact in the Shadow Realm. He's just paying his dues. He's got 10 seconds left. But it's a level 13 set into a level 11 Scion. Now, I know we talk about tanks not being too relevant. Like you're still going to do your job. You're still going to be a tank, but there comes a certain point in the game where levels actually mean a significant amount just as much as items. And I mean, we saw the way Appy melted in that last skirmish. And if you're losing a 4v5 with a beefy frontline, I'm pretty scared of what's to come, Skimmy.
100% right now, right? You're talking between the Kraken Slayer as well as the Leandri's burn, just doing percentile damage. And it doesn't feel like Appy, despite the steel caps, you know, Frostfire, Gauntlet to Bramble, it seems a little bit Monka-esque right now. As the Baron also, as you highlight, has been started very early, Baron, given we're only 21 minutes in. But they realize, hey, maybe a little bit too adventurous here, guys.
And I start to think about, you know, because let's sum up both teams, right? Pentanet have been at deficits multiple times this split, being able to bring it back. And while we got the replay, I'll stop that. So uncharacteristic. And Skimmy, it makes me think, are they feeling the nerves here? Because Violet just goes in, and granted, Decoy plays it extremely well, peels for his 80 carry, but you know, you can't do that when you're a majority of your gold, right? Like, Violet gets funneled all this gold, picks up multiple kills, and he's dead. And now their composition just has 2 frontliners for an Orianna who, you know, lands one-man shockwave. Alistair still doesn't fall down with no ultimate. Yes, he goes down eventually, but just an absolute disaster of a skirmish. And before that replay, what I was talking about, Skimmy, was Peace are the team that get an early lead, run away with the game. Pentanet are the team that can do that, but also hang in there and then run, and then come back and then run away with the game.
Certainly can.
And so the thing that concerns me is Peace have had that early lead and now they're behind. So do we see something that we're not used to seeing from them? Are they able to bring this game back from the brink? Are we going to see a little bit of character coming out from them now?
I think you touching on nerves there is interesting. Hang on for a second, as Pablo might just get completely soloed. Gets dropped to about 10% of his own HP as he's forced to be zoned away now. Baron's still on the cards. Maybe a 4v5 situation can break out as a result. Lisa that starts things off with as the Chaos Storm goes in out, trying to put everybody to sleep. Lisa hits with the bear stun. He gets the shields. The mitigation is there. The disengage is on the cards. And 2 key members of Pentanet have been taken out of the equation. But PCE haven't found the killing opportunity to guarantee themselves a numbers mismatch.
Yeah, but Victor has the teleport, right? So he's out of the equation, but you need to still consider him in the... well, you still need to consider him in the equation, right? Because now here he is. Yeah. He's participating. He's actually gone back, purchased as well. Sure, it doesn't have the Chaos Storm, but I think at this point, when you're playing Victor, do you need it?
I mean, it doesn't really even matter, right? Between the ult and the fact that he's got no flash, he's got a Void Staff now and a stopwatch. He will pack a serious punch. When it was all said and done here, Juves, it felt like Pentanet were getting collapsed on there with being a numbers disadvantage. It's actually them who put the opposition on Soul Point.
And, you know, it is only a Cloud Soul, so there could be worse scenarios, worse dragons in different dimensions, but we're in this one where there's a Cloud Soul, so maybe Peace would be happy to give this one away, keep it at a 3,000 gold deficit, farm to those item thresholds or those item breakpoints, and maybe Halo's feeling comfortable enough to turn a team fight around, because again, he's farming on the clock, doing extremely well, hasn't died yet, and almost on 3 items. And if there's one champion that can turn around a team fight in one instance, it's going to be the Orianna. Going to be that really big shockwave. So, still avenues for Peace to play through, but Pentanet at the moment, when it comes to performing in those skirmishes, is just performing a little too well.
Certainly are performing a little bit too well. I want to run the conversation back just to what we mentioned before about Violet going in there with the kill instinct. We saw a situation very similar to it. I believe it was Gravitas to going into with like the Nocturne Fiddle composition, where he realized I am the majority of my team's gold, and there was a rare showing, I suppose you could point to as of discipline, where like if I die, we're actually quite even. So the situation where he ults in like that to say I need to make something happen, I'm playing in melee range. Yeah, maybe the nerves definitely are affecting him, and you can see just how both are, you know, the lion's share of their economy. They need to be there.
Yeah, I mean, and it's just, and Pabu's caught here now. That's huge, by the way, because a very big factor in why Lilia is so strong right now is because of her flash. Like her flash, Q, multi-man sleep really does change team fights in the mid to late game. Now, if you don't have that flash available, you can still play the front to back again, excuse me, I might even just stop here because this is looking dangerous.
Seems to always be the case when we cast, right? There's no lull state. It's all about punching on and fighting. Halo flashes out the adversary.
Shockwave.
A 3-man shockwave. That's huge, but where's the follow-up, Judes? It's just not there. Here comes the Scion looking to knock everybody up with his ultimate as Decoy flashes on out, and it's already burnt that ultimate. Nobody dies in that situation. You thought just maybe with the triple shockwave, that could have been enough to try and open up the Baron floodgates.
Yeah, and you're right, there was just no follow-up. Kai'Sa ultimate was down on the previous pick onto Pabu. Potentially Violet has Kai'Sa ultimate there. That's one person falling down because the burst that comes through from the Kai'Sa, the Kraken Slayer, the Runans as well, which is going to be too much damage. But again, it's good signs of life from Peace. They're finding the windows that potentially turn a game. They're not able to finish it, but they're taking summoner spells. So the next time around, it's going to stick. The 3-man ultimate is going to stick. Pabu no flash. Chaz no flash. Yeah, Praetus has it, but if Pabu and Chaz fall down, potentially game changer.
Well, this is a game changer. Worth noting that now Pabu also has picked up a stopwatch. So then a compromising position like that, they will have that as the emergency panic button. As you already highlight, though, you're really looking to try and beat a Lilia that flashes on top of somebody's head, hits the big swell seed into guaranteeing multiple members get put to sleep. Then you bait out attention and hit the stopwatch to, turn the fight in your favor.
You don't really want to be the front to back Lilia in a late game team fight versus double frontline, especially when you have Moonstone. Like Leandri is going to have a little bit of value because you'll be able to get the burn off, kite back, use the move speed, pop in and out. However, in this scenario where the Orianna is so strong, that ball is going to zone you. And so Pabu now needs to play this team fight extremely well or safely. Now, he can still throw bowling balls down a lane and find the pick that way, but it's far less reliable. And, this gold deficit, whilst it is 4K, it's 3 to 4K, it is just going to come down to execution, right? It's not a gold deficit. that excuses bad team fighting. You know, sometimes in a game, you get to a point where you can really team fight how you want, and you'll win the team fight 9 times out of 10. But this one is really going to come down to execution. And when you see nameplates, you think of Violet, think of Halo, think of Praedyth, Chaz. There's just so much outplay potential.
Yeah. And we might get a little bit of insight into what some of those micro mechanics look like. Worth noting that Praedyth has now picked up the LDR, Lord Dominic's, so that percentile shot into these tanks even more prevalent than it was before. We've already seen how squishy the likes of Appy and Aladoric have been when they've you know, jumped in there. The Alistair proving to be quite frustrating for them to deal with, especially when that ultimate is running.
Yeah, Alistair's so hard. When I think Alistair is like a snowbally champion, right? Like in the sense that if you get a lead or if your team's winning, that champion doesn't die ever. Like obviously Unbreakable Will is a very OP ability in staying alive, but Alistair does become like a Scion, man, if he's ahead.
Yeah. You can just bait out team fights, right? Just jump into a backline and say, catch me if you can, and then pop the ultimate, and nothing happens as a result. But here is something that is happening right now, Jubes. Peace have once again started up the Baron. They're not playing on Vision. The Pentanet far too good at this. They know that something is amiss because everybody's missing on the map.
It just feels desperate, though, because they're not creating pressure in a side lane and then going to the Baron. They're just praying for the flip, and it's just not something that they want. You don't, and we might see a sleep here because Lilia's just been hit. Sorry, Kaiser's just been hit with the Lilia bowling ball, but there's just too much damage from the Baron.
They're just all in on this Baron core, and quite honestly, Pentanet, this is what they do so well, Jubes, is they command the pressure on the map. Lane state's working in their favor. A free soul for them to take as well, denies many of these recalls too, and forces yourself in a situation where now we are sieging to try and take down an inhibitor.
Yeah, and again, it's you need to create, you need to give them something to think about. Pentanet at the moment don't have anything to think about except get soul. And then Peace are saying, okay, we'll rush the Baron instead. But there's no side lane pressure. There's no vision denial. It's just, well, let's just flip Baron. We do it fast. We have a Kaiser. And it's not creative enough to throw Pentanet off. They've kept 4 members around the Baron just sniffing and throwing skill shots at them while Kaiser, while the Praedyth finishes off the Dragon. And, you know, sometimes this is what Peace run into in a game where it feels like they lose a little bit of creativity, right? When they don't have that lead, they run out of questions to ask the opposition. And Pentanet just have an answer every time at the moment.
Certainly do. It feels all too predictable for them, and as a result, they are running into the fog of war without a care in the world. The map belongs to them. The vision has been deployed. The scuttle has been acquired. And if you just look at the fog of war right now, Peace are terrified about stepping up, especially without these summoners.
Uh-oh, he's been hit.
He certainly has been. He's going to flash away. He's the only person that gets put to sleep by Pepperden, looking just to try and solo him 1v1. There's the Shockwave, taking him back in as a one-man Shockwave. Both Bruisers doing whatever they can to try and live. Oh, Lisa, he's forced to flash away. Pentanet on the hunt, and Peace on the run. Worth noting that Violet did pick up that kill, and it is a 1-for-0 in their favor if they can avoid any casualties on the recall.
1-for-1, but we need to take stock of health bars, right? Orianna can't opt in to participate in this fight, has no teleport as well, so these are going to be recalls. More importantly, Peace have to face check now. So they've lost Appy, the frontliner. Lisa, at this point in the game, I wouldn't really call him a frontline. And now they have to check this Baron.
Baron is down to 50%, Juves.
No flash.
He has no flash. Very hard to try and steal this one away right now between all the CC that they have. It's just free. Pentanet pick up the Baron. There's a free man, Magnus Storm. You wish the Shockwave was there. It's going to be up in 10 seconds. Can Halo find that moment? Will it be extended enough to try and deny it? There it is, and it guarantees the kill. They've taken down free. They've denied as many Baron buffs as possible. It's only Chaz that holds on to it now. And with the respawn time as being 30 to 40 seconds and climbing, Peace have a chance now to acquire a bit of map pressure back on their own terms.
If they manage to break this mid lane turret and then you pause game state, there's a teleport though. It's not going to be a pause.
Bio looking for the 1v3 angle right now. He has the
no
ultimate.
flash.
He is 1v4. He doesn't seem to mind. Chaz is there on the retreat. He hits one with a haymaker, punches the second one to the head. Chaz is here running down Lisa with the ultimate. BioPanther literally winning the game on his own terms. He dives off screen to the Chaos Storm. And Set just runs down the opposition from top lane to mid. We're continuing to lane. Staggered death time is here, Jubes. It looks so good for Peace, but he'll fall on down.
Now, can the Scion Corps clear the wave? Baron Minion's going to be a little bit too hard, but he's opted in for the damage dealt statistic. Kaiser is still alive, and you really were right. It's just the BioPanther TP gap, and that's kind of what he's made his name on doing, right? In the LCO, he's that teleport fiend. He's always going to find that angle behind you, and they may actually be able to end the game here, Skimmy.
We're looking for it with only Victor having that Baron buff. That's all it takes to guarantee that this mid-wave comes on through to try and aim towards the Nexus itself. A few shots towards the first turret, but they're not taking any chances of a respawn. Time is coming on through, and we might have a bit of a lull state as we wait now. 2 minutes for the Elder, but it's still another minute to play around with that Baron.
Yeah, and I think they'll just reset, take jungle camps, use this Baron to stabilize. It was a little bit of a hypey situation, and we see here, just imagine a scenario where 10 seconds. It's 10 seconds to the shockwave here. That's just an ace into so much gold in the back pocket of Peace, but Praedyth flashing forward here, maybe could have played it a little slower. However, I saw the play there. Maybe a few more crits, maybe another roll of the dice, different scenario. However, we'll play for the Elder now, Skimmy. And whilst Peace are at a significant gold deficit, the Elder is really anyone's ballgame. You get that Elder Dragon, scrap gold deficit, doesn't exist anymore. It's you win. You win every team fight at that point. So I think Peace is still feeling pretty good about this game. The thing that we need to take stock of, though, is the level department now. It's a 3-level lead. Now, the Scion, I can assure you, is squishier than the Set, and the Set is the one building some damage items. Well, the Stride Breaker at the very least.
Oh, that's the Hex Flash into a double Magnet Storm. One goes gold and Chaz surviving for the meantime. Least on the flank, he just gets evaporated. He's just dead, he's gone! Out comes the Drowsy, but he gets put to sleep before the animation can even connect with. And Decoy playing zone. He makes sure that going straight through mid. It's another 4v5 juice. Biopanther wasn't even there. But Pentanet just too clean in these team fights.
And that's a 4v5, and then Biopanther just pops his head in and says, "Good day, I'm here to finish this one off." And don't mind if you do, misses the Haymaker again, ends the game how he starts it, missing the Haymaker. But this is just probably a win for Pentanet. I don't think Halo can fend them off 4v5.
No shockwave. He just doesn't have enough damage in the tank right now. He's just going to get zoned away. The first turret soon to fall on down. The second is there. This is Pentanet playing to guarantee they take first in the regular split. And that they certainly do. 35 minutes on the clock, and they beat Peace.
But this game had everything, Skimmy. It had Pentanet falling behind. It had Peace taking the early lead. It ultimately had everything that, wasn't going to end in a good result for Pentanet. We said, if Peace get a lead, they're going to run away with the game. However, Pentanet just showed us how good they are, how they're able to play from a deficit, play from behind, and even so, close the game out quite convincingly. I don't think they ever looked in doubt after that little hiccup in the early game.
I mean, there were so many situations, Mac, where we saw fights that maybe Peace were taking at first of all, but then Pentanet is showing so much confidence and understanding of positioning and ability to bounce back that they have moments like where Biopanther literally TP 1v4s.
I've done it again. I always keep my mic off just in case, to keep everyone on the edge, including myself. Boys, what a bloody game. That was what I expected the first time. That is what we wanted. That is bloody entertainment from the start. Peace getting that early lead, and then, as you mentioned, Pentanet just making all the right decisions. There were so many points where, it could have swung the other way as well. I remember Chaz running off with literally 1 HP when he got caught out in the top river. There was just so many points where the team fights could have gone either way, and I was just literally struggling to breathe every time a team fight happened watching this damn game. And look, I got my prediction wrong, but there was points when I was thinking, damn, I picked the underdogs, but I could be right today.
But this game, and if we're not even talking about winners or losers, because I think Pentanet now, they'd be very confident that they take this split now undefeated in terms of regular season. But if we're talking about a potential, these two teams meet in either the semi-finals or the finals, I think we're in for an absolute blinder of a best of 5. And this game has really set up a very good narrative come playoffs time, because it's no surprise both their teams are going to be there. Now, do they meet, and what is it in a best of 5?
So I just got a quick question as well. Everyone at Twitch chat was saying Pabu was just hard trolling going Moonstone. Why are they saying that, and what would be the better option?
They're saying that because the double front line, or if you consider a Rella front line, the triple front line, the Liandry's burn has so much value, right? Like, the Liandry's is an item that you really build into tankier compositions, and sometimes you can skip out on that item if they're squishier. So the burn is percent HP. Therefore, the higher the health on Peace's lineup, the more value for the Liandry's. But I'm sure Pabu would come on to broadcast and
it would have
just
been
say,
double Leandris though between himself and Chaz, and that just feels terrible, right? So there's probably a min-max discussion that's come around that.
But the thing is, when you're dancing, the Lilia has the luxury of landing poke from like 100 meters away, because you throw the bowling ball at the Baron pit, you're going to hit one member, and the burn's just going to accumulate with the Baron damage. But Pabu will probably come on broadcast, give us a Turbo Giga Chad explanation, and use those words that really I'm too old to be using at the end of the day. But he'll give us that nonetheless.
Well, look, you've asked for him, and I think Nat's down on the side lane with him. So let's just jump straight into it. Nat, can you please go and get this Turbo Giga interview started?
Yes, I can. Actually, I have Pabu as well, which is perfectly... You know what? Let's just start with that one then, Pabu. If you want to defend your honor or explain to everyone watching why you went the Moonstone.
Well, the poke is pretty good, but also they have Scion who just shields it on CD, so like if I'm hitting the Scion, it doesn't do anything. And then also, I'm like Giga outranged by the Orianna, so I didn't feel comfortable playing fights as like... I don't know, like I couldn't play fights like a Chad. I had to play really insecure, so I get a lot more value out of just healing my team, and my team also has Victor Zaya, so our front to back is better than theirs. So I don't need to do more damage to win the fight. Our fight condition is not dying. So if we don't die, we win the fight. So that's kind of the logic I had behind it. Also, I was kind of griefing the game earlier, like I wasn't playing particularly well, so I was ready to just take a backseat, like heal my friends, like CC for the boys. That was kind of my role inside of the game.
Well, there you go. Hopefully Twitch chat has learned something from that and they're not going to second guess or doubt you ever again. But I do want to say congratulations, you know. This now secures that you guys are going to be going into playoffs as #1 coming out of the regular season. So how does that feel? And I also want to know a little bit about how you thought coming out of the draft this time compared to your recent games.
Feels pretty bloody good to be first, honestly. Like, it's been, I don't know, I've played this game for so long, and like I've always thought I was pretty good, but this is the first split where I thought I really had like a chance to like give it my all, and you know, we're actually like pulling it off, so it feels really good. And then the draft in that game I think is pretty, I don't know, it slightly favors us, but it's probably one of the first drafts we've played against that is like human. A lot of teams have been griefing it pretty hard. Their draft was pretty solid. I'd say ours is a little bit better. I think our front to back is easier to play out, and I think our early game is also easier to play out. But we did make some mistakes, and the game was pretty close. So I don't know. It was a good draft. They definitely put up a good fight, and so it was definitely probably one of the most fun matches we've played so far. I had a really good time, and everyone had a really good time.
Oh, that is so good to hear. Actually, walk me through the game a little bit more and the communication that was going on in the team, because it felt, you know, early game was really, really close. It could have just gone either direction for the first 15 odd minutes.
Well, our mid matchup's pretty nothing. Victor's just kind of scaling, and then Brandon was sending to the top lane as a Shadow Realm as per usual. But we had a good bot matchup, and we messed up our level 1, which is like pretty rough. So like we have double counter pick in the lane, and so we should have shove, but because of like small misplay, it just didn't go that way. So our early game plan was a bit scuffed because of that. But apart from that, it was pretty chill. We always know that, like, I don't know, everyone says like they're going to outperform us in the mid and late game, but no one actually does it. We always win the team fight. Like, we're always going to play better than you later on. So you really have to slam us in the early game where it's doomed, and we weren't getting slammed. And we have Victor Zaya. Like, we have Victor Zaya, and we're just so comfortable scaling into the team fight. So it was pretty much like, all right, we've messed up this deploy. We've lost this small objective. We'll just reset. We'll do it again. And then eventually, once we had our items, we just won fights. So it was chill.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining me after this game, and congratulations again on still being undefeated somehow.
Thank you.
Was that a backhanded compliment, Nat? That was somehow, you know.
Yeah,
no idea how.
I think it's just a compliment. I think I'm just really surprised that there hasn't been a game where I'm like, ooh, maybe, you know, it was just like a maybe.
Yeah, it was pretty close. But look, we have to catch up time because we've got 10 minutes to get to the next game. Ladies and gents, it's time for a quick break. Don't go too far. We got Gravitas and Direwolves on the other side.
maybe we just
Watch out,
see a
Doric.
normal game.
It's a one-man knock-up onto Decoy so far. Then they buff with the magnet. There's the stun. Decoy in so much trouble. He's going to fall on down for first blood. It's going to be Lisa that picks it up. Out coming the TPs. Violet flashing away. Needs a bit of a heal. Oh, the flash Haymaker misses. Shoots. Oh, no, by Pepe.
Not going to be a pause.
Looking for the 1v3 angle right now. He has the
no
ultimate.
flash.
He is 1v4. He doesn't seem to mind. Chaz is there on the retreat. He hits one with the Haymaker, punches the second one to the head. Chaz is here running down Lisa with the ultimate. Biopanther